Since the beginning of mankind, rivers have always meant life and civilization. Mankind's first great cities were born around great rivers such as the Nile or the Tigris, and even today they are synonymous with some of the world's largest metropolises. However, not all rivers are the same, nor do they produce the same societies. In fact, in the world, there are some that, far from promoting life, drive their citizens to desperately escape without looking back. And today, you're going to meet one of the worst ones. In the most Asian area of Russia, right where Western Siberia divides from Eastern Siberia, there is a river whose length reaches 5,539 kilometers, which positions it as the fifth largest river in the world. Its name is the Yenisei River, and before flowing into the Kara Sea, it feeds the banks of some 20 small towns and cities in Siberia. Through its waterways, numerous boats feed the needs of the local inhabitants, and it even serves as a fishing center for many. However, the Yenisei River has a terrible evil that is none other than pollution. Not just any pollution, but one that is really difficult to eradicate: radioactive contamination. It is believed that the beginning of this complex situation starts with a bomb-grade plutonium factory located near Bolshoi Bachug. According to local accounts, the factory's employees dumped the waste into the river in the hope of getting rid of the waste quickly and at no cost. Unfortunately, the brilliant idea ended up spreading thousands of radioactive particles along the river for more than 2 decades. In fact, even today, a large number of radioactive isotopes have been recorded in the areas surrounding the former factory. Of course, the government never took responsibility for what happened, and the state-owned company flatly denies such practices or the dangers of the alleged radiation that did not exist. However, the 64,000 residents living downstream from the factory don't seem to agree. A recent study identified something alarming. From the start of the plant's operations until the end of its work, there was a substantial increase in the rates of breast cancer, leukemia, and genetic defects in the communities located in the vicinity of the Yenisei River. In addition to the revealing data from this study, the communities themselves noted the changes since the installation of the factory. Men and women in the area have dozens of stories recounting the drastic changes in daily life and the strange consequences that came with their children bathing in the waters of the river or the inhabitants feeding on the fish in the area. Plutonium and radioactive contamination completely changed the dynamics of the societies around the rivers. In fact, there was a significant migration due to this circumstance, although many stayed and continued to maintain life as they knew it in the hope of escaping the diseases and problems that could come in the future due to the difficult task of living in a toxic environment. Because of this complex situation, a group of specialists was sent to inspect the area to determine once and for all that these were rumors. However, the result was quite interesting. Based on water and sediment tests at various points along the river, it was discovered that the stretch from the closed city of Zelenzogorsk to the Khan River can be classified as an environmental disaster zone. The area covers a little more than 300 kilometers and exhibits percentages well above permitted levels of radiation. The high concentration of radioactive isotopes is believed to be the result of discharges from the Zelenzogorsk chemical combine, despite the fact that its reactors were shut down 12 years ago, as well as several other secondary factories that served as plutonium storage and disposal sites. The result of the investigation were sent to the local administration, but there has been a profound silence on the matter. The most effective settlements are believed to be at Tamanovo, Konovo, and Klaptunovo, as this has affected not only fishing but livestock grazing and even berry and mushroom picking, not to mention other foods that are produced in the area. However, this not only affects the inhabitants of the area, since food with high radioactive loads could be being transported to other cities in Russia, without the final consumers having any idea that they are ingesting a contaminated and dangerous product. People like Valentina Bibikova, who have lived in the contaminated area for 20 years, are convinced that the situation is extremely harmful and alarming. But investigations and studies always end in the same way, in secrecy. The authorities refuse to acknowledge the implications they have with the environmental disaster and prefer to keep the actual information and data classified. No one can access the numerous studies and investigations conducted on the Yenisei River, and it doesn't look like this will change in the future, as the local government covers up the evidence year after year and diminishes the catastrophe in the area. If what most local residents have known for years is confirmed, many questions will be raised about the factories in the area, their owners, and, above all else, those responsible for the Zelenogorsk chemical combine and the reactor waste dumped directly into the river since 1992. According to Pavel Mazarov, head of the press department of the Zelenogorsk chemical combine, the discharges could not have caused high radiation levels in the river sediments. And he claims that the continuous attacks and finger-pointing at the company and its management are only aimed at influencing the result of the city's mayoral elections. Like Pavel Mazarov, different Russian government agencies and figures have claimed that the area is safe and habitable, but fewer and fewer people are willing to believe such claims. However, there is little the citizens of the Yenisei River can do. For them, life is reduced to only two options: living with their backs to the danger of radiation or moving elsewhere. There's no other way out. However, the Yenisei River isn't the only one that offers strange mysteries and dangerous enigmas. The world is full of places that hide secrets that their inhabitants rarely manage to decipher. However, if you join us in this opportunity, you will discover some places where you will not want to live under any circumstances. Do you want to know them? Then check out these videos.